Hey, y'all, welcome to the Common Good Podcast. Rob, checking my new birthday watch. 14th of July.
Are you a watch guy? Are you?
Got a watch for my
Yeah.
birthday, for my
There you go.
kids. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
is
they
it
know I
like
never.
is it a fancy one? Is it Rolex or something?
It's a fancy brand. It's like an upper end brand, and it's there were 350 of these watches made.
Oh,
It's related to a guitar brand that works with
of course.
called Martin Guitars, a place you're familiar
Yep.
with the parking lot. Um,
I've had a
and
cigar at the little picnic table in the yard.
Yeah, so very nice gift, a little guitar homage, and
Nice.
yeah, really nice.
That's
So
great.
I've been wearing an Apple Watch the last couple of years, like
Right.
I don't know, 10 something,
Yeah.
and now I've got this one, and I can tell my wrist swells up some parts of the day, and the watch is looser, and
Yeah.
didn't know that was going
I've
on.
got some friends that are like real watch guys. Like that's a whole
Oh,
thing.
uh-huh,
That's
yeah,
like I, that's not my thing, but that
no,
is a thing that's out there.
yes, and it's I don't know if you'd have to be into it if to get into the YouTube world of it, but it is
Mm.
significant. The YouTube people around watches is bonkers. So
Yeah.
yeah, yep.
Yep.
I see those people and I know those folks that
Whenever
do it.
we're watching Antiques Roadshow. Are you an Antiques Roadshow watcher,
Mm,
Doug?
never
No.
once, never seen it.
Oh, well, you're missing out. Whenever we're watching Antiques Roadshow, and the Rolexes, you get these guys like that were in Vietnam and bought a Rolex for $600 back in the day, and it's now worth $500,000.
Wow,
Well done,
really?
guys. Oh yeah.
Wow, they're
Oh
worth that
yeah.
much. There's
I mean, not all of them.
our little shopping mall up here next to us. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the first indoor shopping mall in America. Indoor shopping malls were innovated right here, just
Mm.
across the highway from where I am. So it's been there a long time, 1955, the indoor mall. And it's kind of come and gone with its different styles. Then they built a fancy mall across a road from it called the Galleria, which just sounds fancy. Then our mall fell into great, it was really empty. There was the Apple store moved in, whatever, 15 years ago or something. They kind of was supposed to help. And then a Dave and Buster's and then a movie theater, they're trying. They've turned this thing around into high end stuff. Rolex dealer, some other fancy watch brand I've never heard
Wow.
of, Tovas leather boots and leather gear. I haven't been in there in a year and a half or
They have like
two.
a Gucci store.
Yes, all of that. And the
Yeah.
flooring's been changed, the lighting, it's like this marble.
Is this like so? Okay? I have two questions. One, does it still have a food court?
Yes,
And does the food court
very
include
small.
like, uh, I mean, is it high end stuff as well, or is it like
Well, it
that
feels,
Japanese place that's giving you like the samples of the bourbon chicken?
of course, there's one of those. Yeah, there's one of those, and there's like some green salad
Yeah,
place, and
and
maybe like,
probably a frozen yogurt by the pound kind of
mm-hmm.
place.
Yeah, I'm sure there's one of those, and there's
Okay, and the
always like
second,
the steak sandwich for the great steak place or something, like a Philly cheesesteak kind of joint. I don't know.
oh, yeah.
But
And
they're
second question,
moving, and now there's a
did the
big
mall
fancy
walk
grocery store connected to it, and
oh,
and
did the do the mall walkers still walk?
I haven't.
You get there early in the
I
morning
don't
and you
know.
see the
I
mall?
don't know.
Oh,
I was turned around by the advent of this fancy mall, which to
yeah.
our theme for today, it's a
Yeah.
reminder.
Things don't stay the way they were.
Nope, things
Yeah.
change. It
Yeah.
didn't in our country, in our culture, in our politics. It didn't always used to be the way it is now,
Mhm.
and it's not going to stay that way. It's going to be
Yep.
the theme of the day.
Yeah.
You know what got me thinking about this? Lindsey Graham dropping dead on Saturday. Just, on the phone, talking to Trump
Mhm.
about Ukraine and, next thing you know, the proverbial pearly gates right in his sight.
Yeah. I mean, it was really eh, I mean, we were all so focused on Mitch McConnell. It really
Mm-hmm.
was, you know, r unexpected. It would have been unexpected anyways, but, really unexpected because we were all focused on somebody else, and, yeah, just shocking news.
Yeah, shocking news. 71, Lindsey Graham. And I've been paying attention to
I mean,
Lindsey
which is
Graham.
young, which is he's a young man in the in the United States Senate.
Yeah, he could have run for president in 10
I mean,
years.
a spry 71.
Yeah, he did. It didn't work out for him 10 years ago, but he could give it a try. He could have given it a try in another 10. Apparently, we can have 80-year-olds. How old was Ronald Reagan when he left office?
I don't think he was in his 80s. I think he was maybe 78, 77,
Seriously?
78. Well, here,
Okay.
let me
And
find
and
out.
and George Bush. How old was George W. Bush when he left? Because I felt like in 1992, I felt like relative to my age,
Mhm.
was so old. And now he's probably I don't know, he may not have been Lindsey Graham's age. I don't know. Um, but it are you looking it up? Okay. It
Yeah,
did
I'm trying to find it.
yeah. See that
Yeah.
that should be information just right there. Just a
I mean,
reminder
keep
that
keep keep riffing, and I'll
yeah, just a reminder that our last two presidents been
ah,
in their 80s.
I yeah, yeah. Ronald Reagan was a shockingly old 77 and 349 days when he
When he left
completed his
office.
second. Yeah, just
Yeah.
shy of 78.
78. Trump is 80.
Just
Biden
yeah,
was 81. Mitch
yep.
McConnell's
Now,
84.
Okay, I'm looking at the eight oldest
Okay.
presidents in U.S.
Okay.
history.
What do we got?
We got Biden, we got Trump, we got Reagan. Dwight Eisenhower was 70 when he left office.
Okay.
Andrew Jackson was 69 when he left office.
Okay. So how old is H.W. Bush? Because this has been killing
James
me.
Buchanan was 69. Harry Truman was 68. George H.W. Bush was 68. Yeah.
68.
Yeah. I
What
mean, almost too young to be president at this point.
like that old
Doug,
joke that Reagan used against Mondale, age has become a thing in this campaign, and I'm not going to
yeah,
use my opponent's inexperience and youthfulness.
youth and inexperience. Yeah, it's
What it
so
was.
great.
Yeah,
What a
great
great
line.
line. What a
Oh,
great line.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. And
Oh,
when
just
and when
fantastic.
Mondale laughed and basically gave him a touche, that that
Oh yeah,
doubly
done.
sealed the fact that he was going to lose 49 states. Friends, just
Yes.
remember this.
Yeah.
Just take into account for a moment
Yes. In
that
our lifetime.
yeah, especially you and I, as
Yeah.
me as an older man, and you as a middle-aged man. Richard Nixon left
Mhm.
office to avoid impeachment in
Mhm.
1974, 1973. What date? Somewhere in there?
Yeah. 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 Sorry, I'm not a Nixon uh,
Somewhere in
historian,
there.
but yeah, 73, 74.
10 years later, or 11 years later, the Republicans had figured out the problem, ran an election in 1984 in which the Republican candidate, bearing the badge of the party that had a president so bad that he left office to avoid impeachment, and a phrase that I cannot wait to use was uttered: "This national nightmare is finally over." 10 years later, Ronald Reagan in the Electoral College won 49 states.
49 states.
all
As
of
as
them.
as as Donald Trump would say, he won all the swing states.
He won, he made every state a swing state and then won them all, except one, the good patriots of Minnesota, where the rebel loon flies high. One state did Walter Mondale win, his home state.
Hmm.
Politics changes fast.
Yes. Yep.
Democrats had a real shellacking handed to them in 2004 during the Iraq War. John Kerry was the candidate. Didn't go well. Shouldn't have gone well. They ran a bad campaign. And then 2008, Barack Obama came in and just tore it up. And 8 years later, the country said Trump. These things change, friends. It's going to be okay. Not everyone's going to be okay, but the time is ticking, and the ticker doesn't have a lot left in it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how long Don's going to live, but I do know how long he's going to be president. Until noon on the 20th of January, 2029. Or sooner.
Yeah.
That's it. We can see the end from here. And that end for the MAGA movement, it is chomping at their heels. Like, this guy has lost all the people. I know that all the Republicans are going to stick with him. You know why the Republicans are going to stick with him? Because voters who want to vote for Republicans activate in elections. That's why. And you have a very hard time winning if you stand against Trump as a Republican. So we need to make all those Republicans sit in their own corner, devour each other up, and move on as a country. And it is coming. Do you know a guy? There was a book out big in the emerging church world. So back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Are you about to cite one of your own books? Because that would be amazing.
I can't remember the name of it. Maybe it was A Christianity Worth Believing by Doug Pagitt. It was a philosophy of science book. Fish. Somebody Fish was the author. And he was talking about postmodern shifts and lots of stuff that was interesting to me at the time. But one of the points that he made in the book, speaking about science and development in science, he said, opposed to popular belief about how science advances, it doesn't advance one hypothesis at a time. It doesn't advance one experiment at a time.
Yeah.
Science advances one funeral at a time. He said, when the people with the power who are telling everybody else what we have to think and believe die, then science changes.
Yeah.
It was profound.
That reminds me of one of the favorite things one of my mentors used to say. Dr. Rembert Bird Carter, just amazing man.
Wow. And what a name. Say the name again.
Oh, yeah. Dr. Rembert Bird Carter.
Ooh.
Yeah. And Bird was spelled with a Y, Dr. Carter, he used to say, in referencing the biblical story of the children of Israel entering the promised land, he used to say, sometimes Aaron has to die before the people can go forward. And, in the biblical story, Moses had passed away, unable to enter the promised land, and the people were continuing to wander. And the text says that when Aaron died, the people entered the promised land.
Oh, nice.
Moses's brother. And yeah, it's basically that thing of like the old guard has to get out of the way.
Yep.
For And, and so, I mean, let let's talk about Lindsey Graham for a little bit. Uh, I thought, Doug, your commentary on not being glad that Lindsey Graham has died, but being glad that he's no longer a United States senator,
Mhm.
I found that really helpful, and I
Oh,
hope I
good.
hope other people did too. Um, because there is a sense of like, here's a person who has done a lot of harm in holding the positions that he's had and having the power that he's had. He has done a lot of harm. He's hurt people. Um, and probably because of his influence and his leadership, uh, I don't think it's a stretch to say even that people have died. Um, he's someone who has been uh, very hawkish in
Mhm.
wanting the United States to be very involved militarily around the
Mhm.
world,
Mhm.
and we've seen, that has brought about, this endless war culture that exists in our country. That even though Donald Trump was opposed to it, he continues to, perpetuate it because here we are at war with Iran again.
Mhm. Still.
Still, um,
I mean, this is what, our
Lin
5th or 6th war under Trump with Iran because he told us that
yeah.
it ended, and then apparently there's a
I
new
actually
one.
yeah. I
So he
actually
must be
looked up
just
the other
ending and starting, new
yeah,
wars
yeah, I
constantly.
looked up the other day, and apparently, like, it's been over 40 times Donald Trump has said that the war in Iran is either
Okay.
done or right, like yeah, so it's
So it's not
crazy
the
amount.
40
Lin
years
Lin
war, it's the 40
Yes,
times war. It's ended
yeah,
and then
that's right.
starts again, ended and starts
Yeah,
again. It's like
yeah,
my friends who
and
quit
then
drinking. They say, I quit drinking. I can quit drinking anytime I want.
yeah,
I also
yeah,
just start again right away. But I can
yeah,
quit
that's
whenever I
right.
want. That's Trump on the war. Like,
Yeah,
sure, we're we're
yeah,
we're done. No, we
yeah.
started again. It's
Lindsey
crazy.
Graham has also participated in propping up people in power who have brought great harm to the country and the world. Donald Trump being one, Supreme Court justices. He's participated in the passing of legislation that has greatly harmed people's lives. Lindsey Graham is someone who has really, like, the legacy of his time in the United States Senate is going to be one that I think
Mhm.
history is going to judge as here's somebody who did a lot of harm.
Yep. Yeah, look, by some
And it's
people's
good to have it.
measurement, and
It's
other people are
good.
gonna say
Yeah.
he's exactly what we wanted, and we wanted more of it.
Yeah.
Funny
Yeah.
enough, the hardcore MAGA people
Yeah. Don't like him.
don't like Lindsey Graham. The
Yeah.
hardcore MAGA people hate Mitch McConnell.
Hmm.
2 guys who are going to,
Yeah. Yeah.
be leaving
Yeah.
the Senate. One maybe by
And
his term running
yes.
out, and the other
Yeah.
one by his term running out, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, the spectrum, uh, uh, where you find yourself as to who you find tolerable, you'll find a lot of MAGA people who are also really glad Lindsey Graham is gone because now the governor of South Carolina can put in a real American. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing.
Lindsey
Our
Graham's
country,
sister.
your country, their country. This whole thing just continues to embroil us.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, at the same time that we say all of this critical stuff about Lindsey Graham, we also recognize here's a human being.
Yeah.
Here's a human being with, with hopes and dreams. And I'd be willing to bet really complex feelings about the world that he was living in. And, someone who, I believe as a Christian, made in the image of God, carrying, the spark of the divine within himself, and also someone who, I brought about great harm in the
Yeah.
world.
As
And
people
so,
do. Yes.
yeah, and so don't rejoice in his death in any way. And well, hopefully whoever replaces him, his sister temporarily, and then, fingers crossed, Dr. Annie Andrews, one of our friends and guest
Yes.
on this show and
Yeah.
candidate for common good. Um, hopefully whoever replaces him in the United States Senate will do less harm than he did in that position of power.
Yeah. Amen. Amen to that. I have a little comment in the, I think it's in the video, which people can find in this YouTube channel or the Facebook thing where almost lots of places where you're watching this, you can find it, or just go to Vocom and go on YouTube if you want to see it, or get on our email list and you have gotten it sent to you. Made a little comment that actually stole the sentiment from Rich Mullins, who is a musician. I said, look, Lindsey Graham is a beloved child of God. It doesn't make him special. It just makes him human. Like, God loves you, does not make you special. By definition, it makes you like every other living being.
Yep.
And there's a funny thing inside of Christianity where people want there to be not only their own love to have a boundary, of which Jesus, the author of the Christian tradition that I want to follow, says, love your God, love yourself, love your neighbor, and love your enemy all the same. Because that's how God acts, because God loves his enemy. God loves God's enemy. So that doesn't make anybody special. And it's funny how people are like, on that video, they would say things like, well, isn't this like, hate the sin and love the sinner? And I'm like, it's literally the opposite of that. It is the there should be no boundary to your love, and there should be no boundary to you opposing people who you love when they're trying to do things that harm. And the fact that we think that only people who are our kind of good doers deserve our love, that's the whole problem, right? For those of us who care about that thing, because, I look at Terry Lynn's comment here. Like, how you doing, Terry? How's that love thing rolling for you? Little Mike Nielsen. How you doing there, pal? With your comments here, because you can roll through life. And man, I'll tell you, Rob, we sent that email out and lots of comments in all the places where the video went up. People are like, oh, Lindsey Graham was a dirtbag. I mean, just like some of them were so funny. I had to read them out loud to Shelley because they were just cracking me up. And I get it if it's just, I don't know, the professional wrestling level of yelling at the world. But on a more serious note, it doesn't do us any good to love people who don't have and use power for good. And it does us nothing good to hate people who don't use power for good. It only does us good to collaborate with people who use power for good. That's your own affections or lack of affections should not be your primary concern, which is, I think, the thing about the Christian tradition, and many people find this in other traditions as well, that's freeing. You don't have to worry about who you should love. Don't worry about it, because you just love everybody.
Yep.
And as we say, and I said in the dealio, but not everybody you love should be a United States senator, and this man should, like that. And then people do this thing where they're like, yeah, but all the harm that he did and all the harm. Yes, those are two separate things. So let's put him in a position where we don't have to care what Lindsey Graham thinks. I wish the American people had made a choice in November of 2024 for the majority of us and the people of the world to not have to care what Donald Trump or Stephen Miller think. Wouldn't that have been great? Just let the man go off and think his thinks, because we wouldn't have to care if he wasn't the president, if he wasn't a senator, if he wasn't a representative, if he wasn't somebody in power.
Yeah, absolutely. On the politics of this, Ed made a comment about, maybe Stephen Colbert will move back to South Carolina and run. And I've seen
Hilarious.
that a little bit.
Oh, really?
And I get that. Yeah, I've seen people mention that. This is just for people to understand. This is a Senate seat that was already being contested. Lindsey Graham was running for re-election. This is not like he's in the middle of his term and
Oh, I
there's,
see.
4 more years and there's going to be a special election to see who fills it. No, that's not what's happening here. Lindsey Graham's sister was appointed to fill his seat
That
because
happened
yesterday.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Man, the nepotism
Because
in the Republican Party is unencumbered.
yeah.
They do not
Because
care. They just see all of it as the family business. These very
yeah.
people who couldn't stop crying about Hunter Biden.
Lindsey Graham's sister was appointed to fill out the rest of his term. She will be the senator, now the junior senator from the great state of South Carolina, until January of 2027. At the same time, there will be a special election, not to decide who the next senator will be, but to decide who will be the Republican nominee for that seat.
Yes.
Because that seat is already up for re-election in November. The Democrats don't need Stephen Colbert to move back to South Carolina and run because the Democrats already have a candidate running for that
Yes.
seat.
Yes. Annie
Who,
Edwards.
according to polling, was catching up with Lindsey Graham in the polls.
Yes.
That candidate is Dr. Annie Andrews. You should look her up. You should find her. She has been a guest on this podcast in the past. She has been a candidate for Common Good. She is fantastic. And we don't need Stephen Colbert. This celebrity obsession thing is that exists is, it's part of how it got us Donald Trump.
Yes, it is. I was going to say.
And yeah, and
jumps the
Democrats don't need to recreate it. We don't need Stephen Colbert to do this. What we need is everybody to get behind Annie Andrews and let's go. Let's go.
That's great. That's a great point. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Okay,
Are we done
enough
with
talking about Lindsey
are
Graham.
we done with old Lindsey Graham and the pending?
Yeah. Now, Doug, I want to ask you a question.
Pray tell.
Is the picture AI generated or somehow photoshopped?
No, I think it really is Mitch. You were talking about Mitch McConnell sitting with his wife with the newspaper.
Yep.
Yeah. No, if they were going to do such a thing, they would have made a better version than that. The man's alive.
Did he look better than you expected?
I had no expectations about how an 84-year-old man in the hospital looks. Yeah, could not care any less. At some point, somebody had a great comment, which was something like, when an infirmed Republican, can still hold their Senate seat, it tells us a lot about the nature of the Republican Party, which I think is pretty true and pretty accurate. Yeah, look, in my view, Mitch McConnell is alive. Mitch McConnell is not running for re-election. He, too, is not going to be a senator. Graham Plattner is not going to be a senator.
Yay.
Now, I've already forgotten the name of the guy who's not going to be the governor of California.
Gavin Newsom?
No, the guy who was running, yeah. And Gavin Newsom is not going to be the governor. No, the congressman who was running had to drop out of the race because of his own sexual misconduct.
Yeah. Yep.
every once in a while you have a chance to sort of reset. And there's some really great candidates running. Robb Ryerse, he's one of them. Annie Andrews is one of them. There's people all over the country who are great folks that should be elected to these seats. Things don't stay the way they are. And I'll say to those who want the politics to be the way I hope that they are, that the crassness and the crude behavior and the crude languaging and all just the profanity and grotesqueness of people that pop onto our live streams and say stuff. And you could say, oh, that's just because people are on the internet and they say, no. These people, I mean, they do it all the time. But I'll tell you, I know people in my life who see politics the way I do, who really struggle with how much they despise the people in political power. Yeah. And it's very hard to separate that from the people that, from the person. It is hard. And I am in no way suggesting we do this to let somebody off the hook, to minimize the impact. It's just don't spend your time and energy there. It erodes you. It erodes your care. It's a fake high, right? It's a sugar boost when you're really tired, right? It's, hey, let me grab a donut and sort of, perk up in the middle of the day, because you hit your system with a little bit of sugar and some fat. It's pretty great, and you get a little boost. But that's not how your system is designed to work. And all of the rage, and frankly, Democrats, all the constancy of the Republicans will always be the people in power because they've cheated the system. Like, I don't know, at some point, we just have to stop with the system is rigged and the system is broken and just win elections, for the love. Because simultaneously we complain about the guy who says that the election was stolen, and then we all kick into the elections were rigged and were stolen, and we're not going to get a fair crack. And I just, it makes my brain just
okay. Speaking of which, let's talk about Doug, you've heard the news that Donald Trump is going to give an address to the nation on Thursday evening. Have you heard this news?
I heard that he's going to be blabbing again.
Yeah. There was some speculation that this was, related to the, reignited war with Iran, and something related to that. And then there was news reports yesterday from sources within the White House that the plan for Donald Trump's speech to the nation on Thursday evening at 9 p.m. is that he is going to announce that there has been definitive evidence uncovered showing that the 2020 election was interfered with by foreign elements, which the most significant upshot of which is that in the state of Georgia, the two elected senators elected in Georgia in the 2020 election, Senator Warnock and Senator Ossoff, are both illegitimately elected as the result of election interference and chicanery. And Donald Trump is going to announce that the two senators from Georgia should not be United States senators.
Awesome. Do you know who's going to care? No one. No one. I mean, this is how far our presidency has devolved. Everybody just calculates in that Donald Trump is going to write things, say things, and make statements of things that have no relevance and are not related to the truth. So people don't care. I mean, at like every level, like internationally, investors, nobody cares what he says. There was an election that a big investigation went into and showed that foreign adversaries to the United States did work toward an outcome in a presidential election. And it was Russia pulling for Donald Trump. There was a whole investigation. There's a whole Mueller report on this.
Yeah.
And nobody cares. Nobody in the
think
country actually cared that Russia was involved in getting Donald Trump elected. Donald Trump coming out and saying that some country, maybe it was Venezuela, maybe it was China, maybe it was satellites. Nobody's going to care because these are the babblings of a madman.
yeah.
And it used to be that if the president, remember in the West Wing with that fine little episode, and they were talking about how if a particular person running for reelection didn't sort of get on board with the president, they were going to fly Air Force One into their state and land and have some meetings and feel the full weight of Air Force One coming down on the political campaign.
Mm-hmm.
All gone.
Yeah.
Donald Trump spends his time calling in to low-rate television shows and podcasts to try to make his point. He finally probably got the national security advisor out of her role when she was investigating the files taken from Fulton County, Georgia.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, the other amusing thing about
it's just
this
absurd.
is
Should we live stream it? Should we put it on and then sit over here like the Muppets and talk
I
about
have like Statler and Waldorf. I have thought about that, but I have a speaking engagement on Thursday evening. That
good for you.
yeah. Yeah, there's an anti-ice vigil that is happening in Fort
Great.
Smith, Arkansas, that I'm going to be at and speaking at. The really ironic thing is that Donald Trump is going to make this case, apparently, allegedly, it might be something different. He's going to make this case about election interference and how these elections in Georgia can't be trusted. The really amusing thing about this is he's going to do this at the same time and probably make the case that this is why we need the Save America Act, this bill that everyone thinks will solve everyone. I say not everyone, but you know what I mean. Thinks that this bill will solve election problems in America. Because it will institute, voter ID or, picture ID, photo ID when you vote. Doug, in 2020 in the state of Georgia, photo ID when you vote
was required.
Yeah. Georgia had in 2020 one of the strictest election requirements in the country. So that's when you vote in person, and then on mail-in ballots there was a signature verification that took place in 2020. Then in 2021 they passed a law adding the photo ID to even the mail-in ballots, which you have to, So, anyways, all this to say, if there was election shenanigans happening in Georgia that produced Senator Warnock and Senator Ossoff, those shenanigans happened in the midst of photo ID at voting. The very thing that the SAVE Act says is going to, save American democracy. Ridiculous. But that kind of recognition, that kind of hey, let's connect the dots here. That's not something that this president typically does.
No. And because the rest of the system, journalists, political parties, citizens, don't want to normalize Donald Trump's behavior.
Yeah.
We tend to just act as if everything is normal. Oh, a president is saying some things. We should then pay attention and respond. The hard thing for the whole system is to just set aside the fact that he's calling a primetime press event, because we've heard him so many times do primetime press events, and they're full of misinformation, ramblings, and nonsense.
Yeah.
Because this administration is reckless and dangerous and full of nonsense.
Yeah.
So I am glad,
Yeah.
frankly, I am very glad he is going to do this. I think every chance we have for this guy to be out there pitching his election interference in 2020, when he was the president, Republicans were in charge of the elections in Georgia, he should be out there pitching why on his watch that happened.
Why on his watch 2 Democrats won in Georgia?
And why, when he was not president, there were fair elections that allowed him to be elected.
Yep. Exactly.
Why is that? Why, when Barack Obama and Joe Biden were president, did we have fair elections? And why, when you were president, did we have corruption in our elections? Now, wouldn't that be a fun question for anybody in the press to ask?
Yeah.
Where is the corruption possibly coming from?
Mm-hmm.
Well, inside the house, apparently.
Yep.
Where it is.
Yep.
Oh, this man, he's just so absurd.
Yeah. Doug, the violence on American streets perpetrated by agents of the federal government continues. You know, we know now that in Houston a week ago, ICE agents shot and killed a man, Lorenzo Araujo. We know that yesterday in Bidford, Maine, ICE agents shot and killed a man, Joan Sebastian Guerrero. In Memphis, the National Guard sent there to Memphis to keep people safe, allegedly, by the President of the United States, have now killed 2 men.
Yep.
At what point are we going to finally say, hey, the federal government is killing people in our streets, and it's not okay?
Yeah. Well,
It's
I think
not
we are
okay.
saying it. And you know, it's being said all over the country. I know there's been people have lost their roles and their jobs over this stuff, and the full measure of justice has not yet come for all the misdeeds. But the American people hate the idea that federal agents are shooting and killing people. Republicans hate it. Independents hate it. Democrats probably mostly hate it. It is terrible.
Yeah. And I want to just, make an observation that you can go back and look at, and I've got the Wikipedia page pulled up. You can go back and look. There's pretty consistently several ICE or CBP, the Customs and Border Patrol Agency, pretty consistently and this is an amazing sentence to say. There's pretty consistently several shootings per month happening in the United States.
Police shootings, you mean? Law enforcement
No,
shootings?
shootings by ICE agents or
ICE agents.
CBP
Okay.
agents.
Uh-huh.
And then from February until June 15th, there's only one that happens in April.
Mm.
There's a long break. And then June 15th, there's a shooting. June 16th, July 1st, July 7th, July 13th. And we're back at the rate where the shootings were happening before, very frequently.
Yep.
Do you know what was happening between February 22nd and June 15th?
I do. There was some national public awareness around masked federal agents shooting Americans dead in
And
their
there
car
was,
and on the ground.
and as a part of that, there was a pretty significant legislative fight over the ICE budget.
Mm.
It was almost as if it's like, hey guys, dial it back until we get our budget. Do you know when the budget was passed? The $70 billion budget that funds ICE through the rest of Donald Trump's term as president?
Oh, I hope it was that, like one of those dates.
It was on June 9th, signed into law a couple of days later, and a couple of days after that, the shootings resume.
Well, as the conspiracy theorists like to say, there are no coincidences. Wow.
This agency needs to simply be abolished. I am all for spending $70 billion over the next 3 years on our immigration system. Let's do it. Let's spend $70 billion on our immigration system, and let's use that money to hire asylum judges and immigration judges and staff people that can help alleviate the bottleneck that exists at our border. Let's hire staff who can process visas, who can handle applications, who can move people through the process.
Huh.
Because let's spend the $70 billion on that.
Right.
Not on the people who are killing human beings on American streets.
Right. Great point. Not on a bunch of cowboys driving around, riding around, gathering up the worst of the worst.
Police academy dropouts shooting the wrong people.
I'd like to just comment on Ken's post here. Here's what Ken Snowden writes. Doug's got the Alan Alda look going. I get that a lot, especially from Korean women, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh. Trump saved the U.S. from left woke DEI idiot ideology. Same crap the UK, Australia, and Canada are going through. Countries overseas have had enough of this censorship, crime, and chaos. Serious question, Ken. Has there ever been an administration that has censored the American people more than this one? People losing their jobs because they said something about another citizen being killed by another citizen. Government agents being told that they cannot speak about federal agents killing American citizens. So you have Charlie Kirk's murder becomes something that comedians can't joke about. People working at their own private businesses can't put social media posts up about. Putting out a hit list on people who oppose the government. The censorship in the Trump administration is so un-American. Crime under the Trump administration, higher than ever. The crime of the Trump administration, unprecedented. And the sheer chaos from immigration to tariffs to international places to American city streets. I mean, look, I get it. You may want to say Democrats, somebody said in the comments earlier, the worst Democrat, the best Democrat's still better than the worst Republican, blah, 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 and that the left wokies ruined America. Really? Okay, again, 4 years of Trump, America's terrible after 4 years of Biden, 2 years of Trump, and it's not better yet? What? If you don't want censorship, crime, and chaos, and nice alliteration, give you extra points for that.
Yeah, I
Is
kind of
this
like that.
really the? Is anybody in MAGA woke in MAGA anti-wokey world really going to make the argument that there's less censorship because some barista told you to use they pronouns? You think that's the same as the government shutting down entire agencies meant to protect censorship against censorship?
Yeah. Or
It's just
yes,
insane.
or the federal government subpoenaing and charging reporters who report on things that they don't like. Google it, Doug. Google it. Ken just says Google it.
Yeah, Google
Google
what
it.
woke means. Well,
Google it. Google
I've done my own research on this.
it.
If you don't,
Doug, I have a very exciting thing.
want
Can I just
crime.
interrupt the pod? Can I just interrupt the podcast for a
Yes,
moment?
of course.
My child has brought me a freshly baked homemade chocolate chip cookie
With a thumb in the background.
with a thumbs up. Do you want to be on the podcast for a second? What is it?
That's got to get. That's hello.
Here, bend down a little bit so we can see your face.
There you are.
Hey, brought
she's
that
real.
chocolate chip
She's
cookie.
real. She's real.
All right. Okay, sorry. Yeah, just a little. I'm gonna mute myself while
You're
I
gonna get
eat
a cookie
my,
for yeah. I mean, don't wait. Eat that cookie right now.
and
Eat that cookie during the podcast.
Here we go.
If you don't want crime in America, don't elect a felon to be the president. And if you think that's not a real crime, and you have in your mind the immigrant crime that's happened, I would like to suggest to you that we don't call things crimes that are in your imagination, and we do call things crime when someone has been convicted by a jury of their peers. Now, you might join the rest of us and say that the justice system doesn't always act in fair and equitable ways. Do you know who can't make the argument that our judicial system is not equitable? Billionaire white guys. The man is literally a felon who pardoned other felons. And you want to talk about crime? Inflation is up, crime is up, confidence in the country is down, tariffs are up, and people are struggling. A government that used to work on behalf of the most impoverished in the world was gutted by this guy and literally his billionaire incompetent former booster.
Yep.
And let me just finish this thought, because the things we are saying right now, the things I am saying, the things Rob is saying, this is what every person who used to work for Trump or was part of helping Trump get elected and then Trump turned on them also says. All of them. His former chief of staff, his former campaign partners, people that went out on the road for him to get him elected have said, why did this turn into a crypto crime presidency that cares about nothing other than enriching itself and taking from the American people? That is what the boosters of this guy are saying. So, friends, I know that people are going to write on there, you're a fucking idiot and you're a moron, because that's the only thing they have to say. And the very thing they'll say about us now is this long, long, long growing list of people who now think the way we do.
Yeah. And let me tell you this story about one. On Saturday, I was at a voter registration drive that was taking place in Rogers, Arkansas, close to the very first ever Walmart store number one. Not directly in their parking lot, but in the parking lot of an adjacent restaurant that allowed us to use that space. During the course of that voter registration, there was a large white pickup truck that pulled in rather aggressively. And, when you do this kind of stuff in the public, and Doug, you know this, that, you see a large pickup truck pull
Yeah.
in kind of aggressively, and, you've got some stereotypes and some sense of like, oh, I'm not quite sure how this is going to go. Right. Right. We've done enough. We've done enough of this stuff.
Been around.
This wasn't a Prius pulling in. An older gentleman got out of the pickup truck and he started walking towards us. And he said, I want to change my party registration. And the lady who was the lead organizer of this event kind of walked up to him and said, oh, yeah, we can help you with that. You can do that. And he said, yeah, I've been a Republican. I want to be a Democrat. And he sat down and, filled out the forms, which are ridiculously too complicated. When he got done, he took a form for his wife that he was going to take home with him for his wife to fill out. I spent a couple of minutes talking.
Campaign events, you guys have the forms for people to fill out.
This was not a campaign event. This was a voter registration event.
Oh, it was a registration.
It was.
Event.
Okay. Yep. And so I spent a couple of minutes talking with Dennis after he finished filling out his form. Took my picture with him, and he was like, "Oh, don't put that on Facebook." So I haven't shared the picture. It's just on my phone. But Dennis told me that he lives in Pea Ridge, Arkansas, which is not a big city. This is
it might have
folk.
A branding problem for a area that wants people to move to it.
Yeah, this is country folk living in Pea Ridge, and I mean national. There's a major Civil War battle that happened in Pea Ridge, Arkansas. And there's a museum there. But anyways, Dennis, older white man driving a pickup truck, says to me, he's a lifelong Republican. He voted for Donald Trump 3 times. And he said, I said, well, what happened? And he couldn't really pinpoint one thing. He just started kind of like, I mean, the war and how much everything costs. And then finally, just kind of almost exasperated, he's just like, I'm just sick of all of it. Just tired of all of it. And his response,
I mean, I don't know about you, but I am sick of this shit. I'm sick of it. Can't he just behave like a normal human?
Okay, go on.
Dennis was echoing Megyn Kelly for sure. And but so upset with Donald Trump and what he has done to our country that Dennis's response is not, well, I'm going to vote for a different kind of Republican.
Yeah.
Dennis's response was not, well, I'm just going to sit this out and wait until there's, a better alternative. Dennis's response was to pull into a parking lot on a Saturday afternoon where the weather, where it was 100 degrees.
Nice.
sit and fill out a form simply so he could change his party affiliation. Doug, primaries are over here in Arkansas. You don't have to
I see. Mm-hmm.
like be a Democrat, like to vote for a Democrat. But he is so sick and tired of this president and this
Yeah.
administration
Yes.
that he is willing to change his political party. That was his, kind of, standing on the desk moment saying, I got to do this.
Yeah.
And Doug, I think it's really important for all of us to remember, nothing but welcome for Dennis.
That's right. Welcome home, Dennis.
I shook his hand, asked for his vote, welcomed him. Yeah, he's voted for Donald Trump 3 times. Okay. But welcome. We're glad to have you, Dennis.
Rob, as you know,
that story, that thing, that there are thousands, tens of thousands,
there's not just one,
hundreds of thousands of Dennises all over the country that are just like, I can't do this anymore.
Yep. And look, some of those people will be Lindsey Graham, who stood on the Senate floor and said, that's it, I'm done, after he watched Donald Trump send violent criminals to attack the United States House of Representatives and beat police officers. And then according to Donald Trump, who's now telling a story after Lindsey Graham is dead, according to Donald Trump, that afternoon, Lindsey Graham called Trump and said, I don't even know what I said there. Did I say that? Because I take that back if I said that. This is Trump on television the day of, within 24 hours of Lindsey Graham's death. So, and then became another booster of Trump. So people can recant their, I'm tired of this, I'm sick of it, but not everybody. Rob, I want to give a solid Bruce Springsteen quote whenever possible.
Oh, 100%.
And to enlist a good Bible passage in the common goodery. One of the more famous stories, which matches a series of other stories that are held inside the religious texts of Judaism and Christianity, is the story of Saul, a Pharisee of Pharisees, whose job it was to implement keeping the religious community in order. And if people were to violate religious law, he would go and arrest them, punish them, or even execute them. And so he had done that with someone named Stephen in Jerusalem, a Jewish convert to following Jesus, and was now proclaiming Jesus to be Lord. And there were lots of cultural reasons, political reasons, religious reasons. They wanted to keep the faith inside of a set of boundaries. That Saul was then making a move to go to another town called Damascus. And while, quote, on the road to Damascus, he had a vision, a voice, an encounter that struck him blind until later he could see, which we would now call woke up. And the voice said, Saul, why are you persecuting me? And he said, I don't even know who you are. And he said, the voice in the vision says, I am Jesus, the one that you are persecuting. Saul converts to the story of that Jesus. His name becomes Paul the Apostle, who got a city named after him right down the street from where I live right now. Saint Paul, the Apostle Paul, was the most rabid protector of the system until he wasn't. he ends up going and living with a tanner, a person whose job it was to tan hides. A Jew of good character and a religious leader would not be around, consort with people who were dealing with forbidden animals in the Jewish diet, including pigs, from which hides were coming, pig skin. He lived with the guy for a long time, a decade, and then came out as the Apostle Paul. You could almost say a guy was going from Pea Ridge, on the road from Pea Ridge, and something had happened in his mind. He had a vision. He saw things. He heard things. Reality became a little more in sight. And he said, how do I move in with the tanner? I mean, these metaphors exist because they are all the time. I don't know every tradition in the world. I know Christianity's religious tradition pretty well. Part of the reason I like the tradition, it's full of this stuff. Some people, God bless you, if you've only ever heard somebody retell the story in a way in which the divine is opposed to you and needed to kill his own son so that you could then be with him. I mean, that is so confusing. I don't know who would want into that story. Some rageful God that is so angry at you that he will kill his own son so that you can be with him because he loves you so much. I mean, this is a theology that's completely made up, by the way, completely made up. It's a version of atonement theory that is just from somebody who grew up with an alcoholic parent. I mean, there's real names, Augustine, Calvin, Luther. I mean, really disturbed people creating very disturbed theologies. But the text itself is full of stories of people who do the right thing and step into it and live into it. And so when these folks chide at you, chide at us, support Trump, give them a vision, let them hear a thing or two, give them some passion, and say to yourself, I wonder how far Damascus is from where you are right now. Or, I don't know, just think the whole thing's rigged and people never change and somebody in power has all the things and it's the billionaires and there's 11 people making all the decisions in our current 2026 version of the Illuminati. I don't know that. Or there's a big people movement that people of the common good have been losing the arguments. Because, Rob, you have this great bit, which is, like you want to win an election, not win an argument.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But at some point, we also need to kind of like win the, win the hearts and minds so that people are like, well, that's a better idea. You people at least have a better idea, even if you don't have a better implementation of it. At least there's a better idea of it. And frankly, Democrats that I want to win elected office haven't always had a better idea.
100%.
I feel like during the sermon there, you wanted to say something like somebody sitting in the back row at church and is like, "Hey, man, if the pastor would stop for a minute, I would chime in."
Just tackle you. Did I miss the Springsteen quote?
No, I said I want to do a Springsteen quote, and I'm also somebody who wants to always give a little Bible reference, so I gave a little Bible.
Oh, I thought you were going to give us a Springsteen quote.
No, I was giving you a Bible reference. That whole thing I just did, that comes from the Bible. I'm sorry. I should
I get that.
I thought for fundamentalist pastors. That comes from the Bible, from the book of Acts.
Right. Yeah, I appreciate that. But I thought I was under the impression we were going to get a sermon punctuated by a Springsteen quote.
Oh, yes.
Was I the only one who thought this? Folks in the chat, help me out here. Come on.
Would you
can't
like
be
us?
the
Are
fool.
you begging? Are you begging for a little more? Are you saying give it? don't leave me Springsteen quote hanging.
Yeah.
Should always remind us that big story of faith that we're in is not just our family and our tribe. If we could just see each other as brothers in arms, we could love each other. The Hebrew text, which then is taken on as the Christian text in the book of Genesis.
Yeah, I don't want to hear any of this until we get a Springsteen quote. Lynn and Alex are with me.
A story probably best summed up in Bruce Springsteen's song,
Here we go.
Adam Raised a Cain.
Hmm.
And the idea that Adam raised a Cain, that the Son of God, Adam, for whom Jesus becomes the second Adam, creating a family of faith that's open to all and not to some tribes. That Adam had a son. One was Cain, who killed the Son of God's other son, Abel. In the story, you got 4 big characters: Adam and Eve,
Mm-hmm.
Cain and Abel. One killed the other. 50% death rate among the Son of God's sons. 50% murderer rate. I mean, we haven't seen this kind of tragedy since the Trump kids took over the federal government and started using it for their own personal piggy bank. I don't want to wish upon them a Cain and Abel story, but boy, there's part of me that would find some real correlation there. It ain't no sin to be glad you're alive, Rob. And we can live in a world in which we're glad to be alive.
Yeah.
And we swore no surrender. And on this train, faith will be rewarded. I could just go on and on and on.
Yeah.
With random Bruce Springsteen quotes of lots of goodness. We've met the enemy, and he is us. Look, I was chatting with some friends last night, and I used a line that I've been using a lot lately, where I'm like, look, do you know how we know that we can live with the enemy on any topic? Because we live as our own enemies. Human beings maybe aren't the only animal. There's probably another one somewhere, I just don't know which one, that regularly self-harms. I mean, you might get an animal that gets a fetish and licks, and then they get a smell. But like the degree to which humans with full consciousness, though, as we understand it, are constantly are self-harming is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
To the degree that if anyone else spoke to most of us the way we talk to ourselves about ourselves, we wouldn't want to spend another minute with the person.
Yeah, totally.
But we figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
We are the multitude. Like there is a real sense in all spiritualities that I know of that contained in us is the multitude that is all of us, and all this kind of philosophical stuff. But look, we get it. But most people continue to live in a pattern until a better option is presented. My friend Tom used to work in a drug rehabilitation system in a prison, in Lino Lakes Prison here in Minnesota. And he said the thing that he had to come to terms with and understand as a drug counselor was that for many people who use drugs in a way to satiate difficulty in their life, and it leads to hazard for them. That using drugs is not their worst choice. To them, it's seen as their current best choice.
Yeah.
So his job is not to show them how bad that choice is, because from their vantage point, that's still the best of all options. What he has to do is help them to see that there's a better other choice. I mean, this is to the heart of a lot of therapy. It's the heart of a lot of addiction recovery. Lots of things. Take this reality, spirituality, and I would say our politics. Most people, our friends in the chat here who write this stuff, or anywhere they write, our friends and family who say stuff like, well, who else am I going to vote for if not a Republican? Because, the wokes, they do this. They really, truly believe there is no better option. I mean, Rob, I know we get occasional people on here that are like, I just love the man. Okay, fair enough. Like, look, who are we to tell somebody who to love? Honey, love the one you're with or whatever. I don't care. But when people feel that conflicted, well, who else am I going to vote for? A Democrat? That's a real condition they're in. I don't know who else I would vote for. What other option do I have? That's stuckness. That, by the way, theologically is what is called the manifestation of, trigger word coming, sin. The sin bit is that you are trapped and have no other options. That's why Jesus sets the prisoners free. That's why there's a Day of Atonement in Judaism. That's what all this is being freed up so you have other options. So helping people have other options is theologically the words we use for that, setting people free from their sin, from their trappedness, from their stuckness, from their I'm totally fuckness, right? That's the theological term. People need another option. They're on a road to Damascus. And Adam raised a Cain. They can't help it. There's no system righteous enough where you don't get people harming each other.
And things change. Things change. Just because it's this way today doesn't mean it's going to be this way tomorrow. You never know what notification you're going to get on your phone.
Edward puts in the chat, oh, Minneapolis, I hear your voice singing through the bloody mist. We take our stand for this land and the stranger in our midst. Here in our home, they killed and roamed in the winter of 26. You want a good Springsteen quote? Thanks for that, Edward. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Science changes one death at a time. Politics change one election at a time. And there's a long time between them. And don't get discouraged. The time is coming. I mean, to be overly biblical about this, I'm really feeling my preacher bit.
Yeah.
This is what, by the way, the promises in the book of Isaiah that end up being taken and interpreted in a way that have Mary being a virgin when she births Jesus, is because in the book of Isaiah, there is a promise that delivery will come before the young girl who is a virgin is impregnated. It was a timing prophecy. She's a young girl now. She will reach an age where she is married and can have a baby, and delivery of the nation of Israel will come before then. That gets turned into a virgin had a baby. Do a whole other conversation about all of that. The thing I like about it is a timing promise. And it's not as good as this phrase has been for a lot of people. It's become, this phrase I'm about to use has become tiresome to me, like a very tasty piece of gum at the start becomes something that you're quickly looking for a trash receptacle because it's just lost its flavor. The moral arc of the universe bends toward justice.
Mm.
I don't know about that. I don't know if that's true. I do think that sometimes delivery takes a while. There's going to be a little Pagitt born in the world
Mm.
on July 23rd. Scheduled.
Excellent.
It's not yet. It's like a week from tomorrow. 15th.
Yeah,
A week from
something like that. 9 days.
A week from Thursday. There's a date when the change is coming. There are dates
And who knows
coming,
it?
friends.
And there's no guarantee it won't happen before then.
It could happen before. It's likely not to happen after because it's going to be a C-section.
Yep.
Things can be complicated.
Yep.
Yeah, everything's not promised. Everything's not guaranteed. It's still going to involve human action and human engagement. It's not set and settled, but there's a day coming. You know that old thing that the old preachers used to say in the world that I was in? It's Friday,
but Sunday's coming.
That's a reference to the crucifixion of Jesus, noon on Friday, and resurrection early Sunday morning before sun up, which somehow we get to call 3 days. And to borrow the joke from MrDeity.com, 26 hours, 36 hours tops. Going to be down. Great bit. I mean, not even a full 3 days in the grave. Just early the third day. Sunday's coming.
Yeah.
Or better yet, someday is a coming.
Yeah. November 3rd, or maybe sooner.
Or maybe sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Or we the people will keep making choices like we did before. And what moves the we? I think we do.
Mm.
I do think that that our friend Ken did make a point that was worth thinking about here. He says the same crap the UK, Australia, and Canada are going through. What is true, he's saying that the DEI wokeness of Democrats, which is hard.
He's
for people
not
like Rob and
referencing
I.
He's not referencing the worldwide impact of Donald Trump's presidency,
which is. Yeah, because you know what the world loves right now is the U.S., baby. This is really great for everybody because he's ended all the wars. The war in Ukraine is over. The war in Gaza is over. 40 different times he's ended the war in Iran that he started 41 times. Just what a guy. Really getting her done. And there was a global movement of anti-immigration, closing borders, and a pushback against inclusive policies all over the world.
Yep.
Not in every place equally, but all over the world. U.S. got caught up in that stuff too, and we'll fix it.
Yep.
Someday. Someday's a pretty good idea. All right, one last comment. AI viewers, streambo.com. I can't miss off on a good spam.
So great.
All right. Hey, thanks, y'all. Lots of good
Yep.
comments in here. Hey, lots of things happen in the Vote Common Good world. Get on the email list. Check the list. We're going to be asking you to wrap our bus. We're going to be asking you to. We're going to make a book that goes along with our PBS documentary about the who's the we question that we raised on the ride.
Yep.
There's so much stuff going on. So,
and we're
with us.
working on raising on the Rob for Congress campaign. We're working on raising $10,000 for our field operations. So if you would like to donate, you can head over to robforcongress.com and
Can
smash that
somebody
donate button.
fund the operation that's going to happen in Pea Ridge?
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Yeah,
think in
let's
Bluey,
let's turn Pea Ridge into,
seriously,
blue territory.
let's reach Dennis from Pea Ridge. I mean, that's gold, baby. Liquid gold, if you know what I'm saying. Pea Ridge, liquid gold. I think in the kids' show Bluey. Do you know the show? Do you have a privilege of
I know
watching
the
this?
show. I've never seen it. My kids are a little old for Bluey, but yeah. I get it.
Rob, I will say to you with clear eyes and a pure heart, no one is too old for Bluey.
Oh, okay.
Just go watch an episode. They're like 7 minutes or 12 minutes. It's Toy Story level of great adult humor wrapped inside of kid stuff. It's Australian, and so it's Australian accent and phrases. And apparently one of them is peeing outside is called a weed pee or something, a weed pee or a tree. It's just great. Bluey, can we weed pee? It's just fabulous. I mean, truly, Bluey is just an international treasure at this point. In fact, in my fancy mall that we started talking about an hour and a half ago, there's an entire Bluey store in there.
A Bluey store. Wow.
A Bluey store. I bet they wouldn't mind if I went over there and shot a video. Oftentimes the people kick you out if you get your camera on and shooting videos. But I could probably pull one off in the Bluey store. It's just.
They probably don't want you to do a weed pee in the Bluey store.
They might let you. I don't know. There's probably a little urinal in there with a tree around it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So anybody you feeling down? You've already seen all the Ted Lasso you can watch. Just go watch an episode of Bluey. I think it's on PBS. I don't know. You find it. Look, if you found this, you find it. That should be a thing we say to the haters when they scream at us, like, "Who paid for the buzz and you wokies?" We should be like, maybe head on home and catch an episode of Bluey. We can turn it into a blue hat, vote Bluey thing. It's great.
Bluey for president.
That's very sweet. All right, thanks to all of you. Thanks for all the great comments. I don't hear that very often. I don't get a preach Doug comments. Permanent. What if you can put up permanent comments on the screen? There's got to be a way to put it there.
Just leave it up there.
All right. Talk to you later.